Hey, it's Dr. Karen Can. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And this week's topic that Source asked me to share with you is about controlled opposition. So I'm going to get right into it. So what I've been seeing from various sources, many of them my friends, people that are members of my Sensitive Soul tribe, that are concerned about what's going on in the world related to coronavirus, deaths, vaccinations, vaccine passports, all this kind of stuff, are showing me some interesting news reels, if you will. and most of these are not on mainstream news. Some of them are. And when I'm reading this, I'm thinking to myself, how is the average person going to be able to discern anything? Because all these different people are saying like completely opposite things. For example, so most of the average person, at least here in America, can't wait, to get their COVID-19 vaccinations. There's a sense of scarcity. And I think if someone were to purposely create scarcity, that'd be a great job, because they're like, okay, only these people get it first, and then you guys, and then well, maybe not quite yet. Okay, now you guys can get it, right? So there's this scarcity thing going on, and if you were marketing anything, including a drug, sometimes scarcity works, and it seems to work very well here. So there are those folks that are doing that, and then there's other folks that are like, wait a second. I'm not really sure I want to be a human guinea pig. I'm not sure I really want to be in a study right now. I don't feel really confident about this, despite whatever the government says. It's safe. It is not approved. It's not FDA approved. So it hasn't gone through all those checks and balances and totally skipped animal studies, right? So yeah, as a medical doctor myself and a light medicine person and a holistic physician, I'd be like, let's wait on this. Let's take a look at what's really going on and what are your true risks for coronavirus. And then how happy is your immune system? How well are you taking care of yourself? Because there's so many holistic ways of taking care of yourself. So I don't tell people never not to get the vaccine. I just tell them to, hey, let's look at the rest of your health, right? Like, let's make sure, vaccine or no vaccine, that you have all these other things in place. Stress management, good quality water, good quality food. Goodness knows, like with clean water and sanitation, we like the disease numbers for all these things we vaccinated with in the past dropped precipitously even before the vaccine was introduced, right? So these things are really important. Having clean water, roof over your head, low stress. Oh, well, gee, you lost your job. That's a little stressful. Why? Because the pandemic. Oh, that's really stressful, right? So there's all these counteracting things that are really, really difficult for people to navigate through in the health. And then there's these articles that come out, right? An article talking about, this guy that's, in the pharmaceutical industry saying mass vaccination is a terrible idea. You may have horrible other strains coming out, and you may have super spreaders, and that's a thing now, the word super spreaders, right? So then it causes more panic. And then somebody else, Pfizer exec, who actually kind of liked that guy, was talking about it. He didn't think it was a really great idea either, that this was all a bunch of, well, I won't say hoax, but, like this was like totally, and here's like a former Pfizer exec. I'm like, wait a second, really? You're a former Pfizer exec, and Pfizer's like one of the guys that makes the COVID-19 vaccine, right? Like, how are you still alive? Like protection, angels, whatever, right? And then there's another guy who's MD talking about how, vaccinating people may cause potentially prion disease. And you're like, what's prion disease? Well, think mad cow disease, okay? So, that somehow these components can then reconfigure themselves perfectly into a prion and then reinfect us with a worse disease. So, like, how's the average person going to, like, go, read the stuff and go through it and not get anxious, right? Like, it's actually pretty anxiety producing. Now, I'm sure the people that are pro-vax don't even pay attention to those, okay? But those kind of reports. But those that are, vax concerned or have vaccine hesitancy, right, are looking at these articles going, oh my gosh, should I be concerned? Because now they're thinking, well, do I even want to be in the same room as someone who's vaccinated? Interesting. And now there's all these reports of, there were like AstraZeneca had been stopped, in multiple countries. I think I can't remember the number now. It's like 20 what? 20, you can look it up for me. 21, 26, something like that. Anyway, had said no to the AstraZeneca vaccine because of blood clots. And then now, so they were literally put under the bus by powers that be, probably, I don't know. And then now J&J, is now being put under the bus, which I personally felt was, not that I'm perfect, but I felt that if you were going to pick one, that's probably the one I would have picked, for various reasons. And yeah, so J&J is now being put under the bus for blood clot and whatever, problems. And so it looks like Pfizer and Moderna are like up there, right? Like number 1 and 2. So how's this person supposed to figure out, what's real, what isn't real, and right? So there's this thing called control opposition. So what this is now sometimes it's how do you say, what's that word I'm looking for? Opportunistic. And sometimes it's planned. So planned control opposition would be, say I am somebody who is, giving, well, okay, let's say I'm on one end of the spectrum and I am, intent on making billions through some sort of program. And I need people convinced to do this program so that I can make my billions, but also that, my agenda, whatever that is going on. But then there's people like resisting it, right? They don't like it. They don't like me. They're pushing against it, So what happens is that, well, we can label them stuff, which I think the anti-vaxxer label is like that, or even conspiracy theorists, which is like a CIA, popularized term, is to kind of just make everybody look bad, who are labeled that way. And it is very effective. CIA knows what they're doing. So, so here's the thing. Instead of having organic opposition, why not create controlled opposition? So you have somebody else play this side that you don't really like because they're very inconvenient and they're loud and they're noisy and they're annoying, okay? Because it's like, I can't do my agenda. So you have somebody play this side and go against me, right? So if I'm creating controlled opposition, I go, hey, I'm going to have you over here. You're going to pretend to be in this camp. And you say bad things about me, okay, or my product or whatever it is that I'm touting, right? So then the people on this side kind of latch on to that. And they go, see, this is a guy. He's a pharmaceutical exec, and he's even saying it's bad. So then they latch onto this thing, and I'm like, I got you where I watch ya, because you're latching on to exactly what I told you to latch on to. You know what I mean? So you're distracted. And guess what? You're in fear again. And I really like that sometimes, because when you're in fear, you buy more of my stuff. It's kind of how it works in marketing. Fear of loss, fear of whatever you're fear of, So fear is a very powerful motivator for most humans. It's like saber-toothed tiger running after you're freaking running, right? It's very motivating. You're not going to sit there and think about it. Should I run? Should I run? Should I fight? I don't know. No, you're running, right? You're running. Now, opportunistic controlled opposition okay, is whereby here I am, and I want to tell you something and to have you do something, okay? And I got my minions out here kind of doing the thing that I want them to do, which was opposing me on purpose, but I know what they're doing, so it's all controlled, and I let them be seen, and, we don't censor these guys, right? But once in a while, you'll get somebody who means well, all right, who really is opposing, okay, so say they're opposing me, but what they're saying is really great fear porn, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, okay, I'll let them keep saying it. Because it's more fear. Awesome. So that's opportunistic control. It was not really control opposition, but opportunistic, opposition, right? But one of my friends said, oh my gosh, it's like the best way I know who to listen to these days is whoever just got censored. Right? And so it's like, okay, so if I'm over here and I'm censoring people and I don't want them to see or hear certain things, and I've got fact checkers, who I pay for, and then what happens is like, don't look over here, don't look over here, look over here, over here. Here's the opposition. Here, hang over here, over here, over here. Yep, fear, 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 more fear. Yep, over here, right? And then you get so distracted that sometimes you're actually not thinking anymore. You're not choosing for yourself. You're kind of getting attached to yet the next thing and the next thing, right? Because there are people that are so anti-vax that they will hang on to anything that is anti-vax, whether it's good or not. I mean, I'm being, okay, I'm maybe being a little harsh, okay? Because not everybody is a scientist, right? Not everybody's a medical doctor. I get that, okay? And we defer to our, PhD, MD, all these people with all these titles, right? And I get that. But we ultimately are responsible for our own well-being, own healthcare, own mindset, own emotions, to be fully self-responsible, right? So how does one have what I call divine discernment? Like, what do I listen to? What don't I listen to? Like, what serves me? What doesn't serve me, right? Now, I could argue some things, but that may not work for you, my argument, because that's not the place you're at. That's not the perception that you're in, right? So you don't have to listen to me. But wouldn't it be great, though, if you listen to the God within, your own inner goddess, your own inner wisdom, to choose what's right for you? So I'm going to give you a couple of clues. Now, if you're in some of my groups, like in my International Academy of Universal Self-Mastery, awesome group, okay, we talk about these things, very frankly, and these guys know my personal opinion and I know theirs, and we're all good, okay? That's, but I'm not going to say it here, okay, about this paper, whatever, because that's for private time, okay? Private training. But I'm going to give you a little hint. So just because you like and admire somebody in one camp, it doesn't mean that everything that they share, that they are correct, or everything that they share is true and relevant to you, even if they are meaning well. And just understand, we're all human, we all make mistakes, okay? And sometimes these well-meaning folks do the fear porn thing to get your attention. Read here, come on, over here, read this danger, that danger, this danger, that danger, right? Now, if you're into that, you'll be like, right on there. What's he say? Oh my God, these people are crazy. How can they get the job, right? And you just kind of go down that road, right? And then the people who aren't into that are just like, you guys are crazy. So we have to be careful about that. So every article, every documentary, whatever, you feel, with your senses. And we do train this. Okay, there's a program, Divine Design Training, where we do a lot of training and healing related to this. I'll talk about that in a sec. But you can actually discern, like, to what degree is this fear-based, which makes it a lower light score, and even if it's high truth, sometimes it's a low light score article for you, because it'll cause you to go into fear and panic and shut down or frozen response. And that is not where we want people to be at, or at least not me anyway. I'm not talking about me as the so-called evil corporation, but me as an American. So take everything with a grain of salt, including everything you hear here, and filter it through your own awareness. Like I said, there's ways in which of doing that. I'd love to teach you that. If you want to join me, I'll tell you in a little bit how to do that. Because there is going to be more and more and more of this coming up, more articles, right? Whereas like half the well, maybe not half, third of the population is freaking out, right? Because their friends and family can't wait to get their vaccine and have their little cards, and there's all this virtue signaling, and then making fun of those who, who are not doing it. They're kind of pariahs, and and then making fun of them by saying, "Oh, I just got my DNA changed and my nanobots injected into me, woohoo!" Which I think is kind of funny. But anyway, not so funny to the loved one. So where was I? Okay. So the divine discernment, right, is being able to feel which thing to read or see or go through and feel what is right for you personally, what resonates with you personally, like where you are at. Because an article that I might read just because, I mean, somebody gives it to me and I have a high responsibility level, right? Because people, I teach and people listen, whatever, right? So I want to know the bigger picture. So I might read something that might scare the bejeebies out of someone else, okay? And I will read it and I'm like, okay, yep, I see where you're coming from. And wait a second. How did you analyze that? Okay, you just said you just analyzed it and this is the result you got? Well, how did you analyze it? Did you analyze it through a machine, through a computer? Did you do a lab test? Did you do a double-blind study? Did you do a retrospective cohort study? Like, what did you do? It's not in the frickin' paper. Okay, so then I go, a little red flag there. Right? So for me, because of the medical background, it can be much faster, but oftentimes, I kind of test myself sometimes. Oftentimes I'll go and I'll see the title of the article, whatever, and sometimes these are inflammatory titles. I'm not a fan of those. So anyway, so I'll see the title. Of course, it's a research article. It's pretty bland usually. I'll read the abstract, and then, if it starts interesting me, I'll read it, but that I'll already get a feeling before I even started reading the first word how divinely true this is in my current reality. And it's a great place to be. Like I said, I'm not perfect and I'm practicing this, so I'm getting better and better at it. And luckily I have the medical background, the science background, the public health background in terms of what we learned in medical school, and the types of studies and how good they are and which ones are better and what kinds of studies and so on and so forth, right? So I have the background to fall back on. So I can do my light medicine and I can, check, the divine truth score or something or the divine light score or something for me, to read, whether it's for the highest degree is good, should I even waste my time or not, right? And then, but I can back it up with that medical background, the science background, did biochemistry, molecular biology. In fact, I was one of the first people in Canada with my, grad student, Brett, doing PCR. Yeah, the old-fashioned way, like the way you never want to do it again because it was so hard and we never got enough DNA to do anything. So it was like, we were really trying hard. So way back when, right? I'm aging myself. Yeah, so I have that piece, so I can understand these things. And I'd love to share with you what my perception is, if you want to hear it, and if you want to know, just can't do it here. Sorry. So here's the cool thing. If you would like to have some divine discernment, we'll just coin that term right now, divine discernment, to optimize your ability to sense and feel not only what is right for you, but what is divine truth, then I encourage you to make that intention to do that. Go into stillness and ask for help in that space. So if you don't know, they're like, I don't meditate, I don't go to stillness, then I would say highly encourage you to do my little free program, which is Stillness on the Fly. You can go to stillnessonthefly.com, right? And then it's like 26 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. Little training, how to do it. It's very easy. You can teach it to children. Please do teach it to your children, teach it to your grandchildren, teach it to anybody that you want, share with them the link, and, they can learn this as well. When you get into that space, you kind of go into 0 point space or 0 point energy, and then you can tune in. to your divine guidance in that space. And then what I'd like to do right now is to do what's called a Topican healing method directive, which will help to clear and clean some energies, whatever's willing to be released today anyway, related to divine discernment. So if you would like to receive this mini energy healing, all you need to do is just make that internal intention to receive right now. I'm going to go ahead and say the directive, and your job is to focus on your body, focus on the energy moving within. Just focus on your body and just notice any shifts or changes. Some people might get a little shiver, some people might yawn, some people might feel energy going down or up or whatever it is, it'll be right for you. And if you don't want to receive, that's okay too. Just say, I don't want to receive. I just want to listen to what else she has to say. So here we go. So go ahead and tune into your body. See if you can get into that place of stillness on the fly, stillness through observing internal movement. So feel the movement. I can feel the movement of energy in my body now as I do this. And I'll go ahead and do the directive. I now command that any and all energies preventing you or any other version of you from fully being able to discern divine truth and what's true for you be clean, cleared, and healed in the highest and best way, all directions of time and all timelines where you exist. Thank you. So just settle in, feel your body again, feel how the energy is moving. For me personally, although I already have this positive morphic field, just, saying it reinforces it, and I just feel kind of personally an expansion. So I'd love for you to comment below if you did choose to receive, how that felt for you in your body. And I'll also post below the link to the Stillness on the Fly training in case you have not taken that already. It's completely free to do that training. This is a space where we get that guidance, in the stillness, in the 0 point. So, so important. Now, if you would like to do some training with me, the Divine Design Training Program, as of this recording of this video, is live and actually very, very discounted through UWealth Revolution. So we did an interview with Darius on April 12, 2021. And this Divine Design Training Program, we actually have a new part of it that's called quantum jumping. We have 2 sessions of quantum jumping. And what is quantum jumping? Well, quantum jumping is the ability to create and reinforce your positive new future reality that we can share together of joy, peace, harmony, and love for all, prosperity for all, and actually tuning in to that quantum reality and literally jumping from our current reality where there still exists war and entities and all the stuff that we prefer not to experience in this lifetime, and then jumping to a brand new, not even universe, brand new infiniverse, a brand new reality. And there's ways in which, you can do that. So I'm doing this training. So quantum jumping 1 and 2 is going to be part of the Divine Design Training. And there's lots of other amazing, awesome stuff. I won't actually say here what we're doing in there, but I'll post the link below so you can take a look for yourself, other things we're training. And the really cool thing is, like I said, I've deeply discounted this for a limited time. That scarcity thing again. We actually only have this much space, right, in our webinars. But so the package A is basically the whole training, and then the replay recordings of the quantum jumping sessions. It's a little less. And then package B is the training and the quantum jumping training sessions, healing sessions with me live at the end of the month, so April 30th and May 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern, and those are about 90 minutes each. So package B, you get to be on there live, and the other cool thing too is you can write down all the family members, including cats and dogs if you'd like, or lizards or whatever else you have, for the healing. You can add them in. Now, of course, if you have adults 18 and over in your home, you will need to ask permission for me to do energy healing on them. And then as soon as you watch the very first module in the Divine Design Training, even though you're waiting a few weeks before we do the live session, you'll be in my, what I call the Topican healing basket. So the healing basket is where I send you mini healings every day, at least once a day, normally twice a day, until we finish with the live. And then once we finish with the live healing, of course, we're doing your household family members as well, as long as they give us permission, then the package A people will get those recordings. So they will still get the quantum jumping. They just won't be live, and they won't have their whole household family members involved in the healing. So either way is fine. I'd love for you to join me. I know there's a lot of people with a lot of questions about what's going on and some of the topics we talked about today in the Spiritual Medicine Digest. I'm not at liberty to share those kinds of insights publicly, certainly not on YouTube. So it has to be in a closed space. And so if you really want that help and support, and you have questions and all about the what, then please join the Divine Design training. Now, if you're one of my students and you're like, hey, I already have the Divine Design training, do I get to do the quantum jumping? Well, the answer is yes. So if you already have the Divine Design training program that we launched last year, just like package A, you will get the recordings of the quantum jumping session 1 and 2, added to your download page, and we will let you know when it's there. We will email you when it's there, so you can then, and that's free for you, so you don't have to pay any extra. Okay, I just really want you to know how to do this, the quantum jumping. And if you're a Divine Design training student and you're like, well, gee, I really would love to come live as well, I can't promise you that can happen. It depends on the numbers that we have. So if we have room, then what I'll probably do is just send you like an upgrade link, so you can upgrade for a small amount of money, and then you can be there live. And then of course anybody in your family will include them as well, in the live healing. So that's how we're doing it right now. So if you have not listened to the interview that I did with Darius on Monday, April 12th, then I highly recommend you listen to that first, and I'll post the link near this video. So you could check it out. You could check out, and by the way, the interview is live until I think midnight Pacific on the 18th, so that's Sunday. So it ends Sunday. So definitely listen to it before Sunday. Well, tomorrow. Definitely listen before tomorrow night, midnight. So you'll know what we're talking about. See if it resonates with you. See if it's the right time for you. If you feel completely cool, collected, calm, no matter what's going on, you know how to transmute negative energies, even if they were to enter your space, or your loved ones having some sort of reaction, you know how to use your light radius to help auto heal them, then you probably don't need to come unless you want to learn the quantum jumping piece. But if you don't know those things and would like to, I highly recommend that you join the program ASAP, because the sooner you join it, when you first turn on that first video, okay, and you start, that healing basket time starts. So the sooner you jump in, the longer time you are in the auto healing basket with me, and I do these little mini healings on you. Yeah, cool, right? Okay, so some other announcements. Monday's Light Warrior Radio Show, I will be chatting with Saskia Weinholz. And she's an amazing woman who is going to revamp the education system. And we're going to be talking about the future of education. She's really a light warrior who's spearheading this. It's really a passion of hers. And if I had clones of myself, I don't, I checked. But if I had clones of myself that, were doing other light warrior things, one of me would be working on education. I'm a teacher, what can I say? I love education, right? Education for our children. Me not having biological children myself, I'm not focused in that arena at this time, but somebody needs to, and I'm so glad to have met this beautiful soul in MeWe, actually, one of the social media that I'm part of. So that's Monday's radio show. It's 12 noon Eastern, and I'll post the link near this video as well. You can join us there. You can also call in and ask questions if you'd like. And the other last little bit of announcement is that we are just about finished creating a forum community within KarenCan.com. That website is my main website, and it'll be a Facebook alternative. We will still have a few groups in Facebook, but much less. So the groups that we had, we're archiving those. And then people who have programs of mine will get support within the website. So you'll be if you're on my mailing list and you've bought anything from me, you'll be getting an email and with instructions on how to get in to there. And so what's going to happen, it's going to be a little slow going at the first, going to be a lot of people, to approve into this, is that my assistants will just double check that the email that you have asked to apply into the Light Medicine Community Group is the same email as the one where you bought one of my programs, whether it's a $37 program or a $9,000 program, whatever. It's like, we just need to make sure that, you're one of our students, and then you can come into the community. Now, if you haven't bought anything from me, that's okay too. You can still connect on the Light Warrior Network communities currently on Facebook and on MeWe, and then on Telegram. I also have a Light Medicine group on Telegram as well, so you can look those up so you don't have to pay anything to get in on it. And then, of course, the people at the International Academy of Self-Mastery, iAwesome, that's my special inner circle group. So we talk about all things censored in that group every single week. A real conversation, with me, and I just absolutely love those. So that's the announcements for this week. Thank you so much for joining me for the Spiritual Medicine Digest. Happy divine discerning. Until next time, bye for now.